What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, a podcast that talks about comic books, movies, TV shows, and typically we feature a beer of the week. If this is your first time listening, thank you for joining us. Please stick around and subscribe, like, share, all of that good stuff. Follow us on social media at Hops Geek News. All of our podcasts are available just by searching Hops Geek News on every single platform, YouTube included. And then, if you feel so inclined to support the show, patreon.com/hopsgeeknews is how you can do so. You can also find us weekly on the Nerd Initiative page where we give our comic book reviews from Marvel, DC, Image, Boom, IDW, Mad Cave, everybody and anyone. We're out there reviewing comic books from the best of the best creators out there right now. Find us every Wednesday. That's where we're at. And like I said, thanks for joining us. Today's episode is about the Doctor Who specials that recently came out. We're talking the 3 specials with David Tennant, and then, of course, the Christmas special with our brand new Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa. And we got a lot of exciting things to talk about. We always like to talk about what we're drinking first, what we've messed up on recently, maybe looked into. We got some good news for you. Haven't done that in a couple weeks. And then our main topic. I, however, am I'm drinking water out of a Disney cup this week. I'm not doing dry January. However, I am scaling back a bit to
Did you call it damp camp?
yeah, I'm part of Camp Damp where I'll drink occasionally and whatnot.
You're like
Not
a
gonna get too
sprinkle
crazy.
January.
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of chill this week and probably I'll have a beer next week most likely, but this week I'm just chilling, nothing crazy, nothing exciting, just good old fashioned H2O. Lauren, what do you got drinking?
So I'm drinking a Calusa Brewing Zote. It's their like flagship IPA. And one of the reasons I picked it is because it's got like a pirate on the label. And in the Christmas
Arr.
special,
Oh, we've had that one before.
oh yeah, this is one that they always have. So anytime I can get the beer from this brewery, it's always available. So we always grab it. And so since the Christmas special, they're on like a pirate ship in the sky, those
Yeah.
creepy little
Oh,
goblins.
that was a cool part. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
And I got it in my Let's Get Wibbly Wobbly glass.
Oh, that's a cool glass.
Because what's really cool with Calusa, one of the things they started doing during COVID, which they kept, is you can order online and just go pick it up. And like I
Yeah.
rarely get over to the west coast of Florida and they don't really ever distribute. And so, but my like somebody on my mom's family lives over there and someone on Josh's family. So within the last few weeks, we've just put in online orders and one day my mom picked it up. Last week, Josh's mom picked it up. And it's great because it's already paid for, it's already tipped,
Yeah.
everything. And they're going there anyways because the beer's so good.
Yeah, Calusa's a really
So
good brewery. I enjoy them, so that's always a really good
they're
spot.
fantastic. And they're one of Josh and I, both of our favorite. So
Nice.
that's one brewery that it's like, oh, I just spent $80 on beers. They'll be here next week. And he's like, okay.
Perfect.
So one place he's not like, how much?
Yeah.
Not the one, but one of.
Speaking of beers, though, Megacon is in a month. As you know, I'm headed down there to the land of Orlando, where Megacon 2024 will be kicking off February 1st through the 4th. And something really exciting is we're looking to do a brewery meetup potentially. Even if you don't drink, come out, hang out. Hopefully, we can meet some of the, especially Orlando people that listen to the show. I know we have some patrons from there, and then might be able to get to meet up with a couple exciting friends of the show that I don't want to spoil yet because we'll talk about it. You'll see it. Trust me,
Jinx. We don't want to jinx it
there will
either.
be signs, aka you'll see pictures, and we'll be talking about it if it does happen. So that's something really exciting. We will be at MegaCon, so come find us. We'll have stickers, all of that good stuff. We might have a couple panels. Don't know yet. Still waiting to hear back on that.
Yeah, last time we found out 2 weeks before. So,
Yeah, but my flight's booked. Just can't buy the passes because it's like I don't want to spend $300 on a pass if we end up getting them for free. So I guess we're
well,
kind of in
last
that
time I got it
limbo.
for free after I bought it. So maybe that's what you have to do. You have to buy them. And then 2 days later, they'll tell you
Yeah, but
you get
yeah.
approved for it. And here's 2 free 4-day tickets after I bought my daughter and I 4-day tickets.
So just buy somebody's pass and then we'll see what happens.
Oh, we'll
But
see.
yeah, we'll be there. Anyways, what is it that we have messed up and or looked into? Actually, real quick, I want to do something real quick. I want to shout out our friend Maynard Brewer on Twitter. He's been listening to the show and something he really cool. He was saying that how he really enjoyed our 200th episode, and he could tell that we put a lot of passion into it. So I just want to shout him out, Rand. Thanks for listening. And words like that really kind of mean that we're doing something cool here. We did reach 200 episodes last, and so when people are like, "Hey, I really enjoyed the show," it's kind of always like, wait, people actually listen to what we have to say, and
Right.
it feels good,
Well,
man. It's always cool.
That is really nice because it's like obviously this is a hobby that we enjoy doing and we're doing it for us, but we do put work into it.
Oh yeah,
So that yeah, that's awesome.
it's always exciting. Yeah. So thanks to them. Then thanks to all of our patrons out there who do subscribe. But anyways, for realsies this time, what did we mess up on slash look into last week?
So this is actually the first time we've recorded since we did the Elf episode because we did Elf and we did the two 200s all on the same night. Matt had costume changes, so that might be confusing if you watch this on YouTube,
I
whereas
come
I had the
prepared.
same hoodie on for 3 episodes. I've learned my lesson. I will have costume changes from here on out. Uh,
Look,
but
it's
one
like
of
a
the things I said
Broadway show. Okay, we put effort and love into this, so of course I'm going to change the fit.
I know it is a coordinated shirt for
And
every
it's also
single time too.
it's Roosevelt's, man. You know, they're a big brand that I love, and hopefully one day maybe they'll maybe just become sponsors of the show eventually, manifesting that in some regard. We'll see. But yeah, you know, I always
We
keep a
need to
shirt
add
out
a
there.
"What are we wearing" section.
We do. What are we wearing? Today's outfit is brought to you by Gucci.
Mine is Amazon
Actually, my
Prime.
mine
It's
is
Ninja
the
Turtle
Packers
shirt.
Pro Shop and Crocs, as I'm wearing my black Crocs
Shoes
because
on in your house?
they're house shoes. Okay, I
They're
wear house
house
shoes. I
shoes.
like to. Have a specific dedicated set of Crocs that I wear inside because I don't know. Like my feet get cold. I don't get cold. My feet and hands get cold. If that
Ah,
makes sense. So
maybe
I have
because
like
you're so
lined
tall, the
Crocs.
circulation can't get to your phalanges.
Yeah, I have lined Crocs. I had to put away my Mickey Christmas Crocs recently, and that was a very sad day in this house.
Dun dun dun. I have on a Ninja Turtle shirt that says "Too legit to quit."
Oh, it's true. But yeah,
All right.
we messed up on something supernatural related.
Actually, this wasn't a mess up. This was something I said I would look into. So when we were doing the fun facts for Elf, we learned that they filmed some of it in River at a Riverview hospital in Canada, and in, supposedly like an abandoned hospital, whatever, sort of creepy. And when I found out that they filmed in the Vancouver area where Supernatural films, I was like, "There's God, they had to have. That has to be a connection. They've had to have filmed there." And as soon as I googled it, they filmed multiple episodes there. They filmed Smallville there. So yes, that was confirmed. I didn't go into the details to see specifically which episodes because it was just like, yeah, this is a standard filming location there. That's
Wow,
all.
that's cool. Meant a nice, cool hospital. I have. Speaking of, let's go into what we've been reading or watching. I have got back on the supernatural train. Next week, we are probably
Yay.
going to talk about.
We have to finish up season 7,
We're gonna finish up season 7 in like a
which is a
Supernatural Friday
hated season
episode.
by many.
Yeah. So we'll next week's episode is going to be on Echo's comic book origin, and then we'll have a bonus episode, which is Supernatural. We're getting back on the train. I am over halfway through season
Mhm.
8. I'm actually really enjoying season 8. It's been pretty good so far, gotta say. I didn't have any beef with season 7. I know there's a lot of Leviathan hate, but I don't think I don't really understand the hate for that as much. But
I
we'll
liked
talk about that.
season 8. There's just some great. I don't know why people hated the Leviathans too. And it's funny is there's actually a nod to people hating the Leviathans that's made in the later episodes.
Mm.
Somebody, and I don't want to say who, they're like, really? You don't like the Leviathans? Come on, they're all teeth. And yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I
And I'll bring
don't.
that back up when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get
But
there. I don't get it. Like that was going.
we get
Season eight's been cool.
Charlie, and I think some people are mad because Bobby dies in that season.
But you kind of like had to run its course in a way. Like you know, Bobby was awesome, but there was no way that Bobby was a viable person to carry on through all 15 seasons. Like,
One, he came back as a ghost.
yeah, he did come back, and then not to mention like Sam and Dean, they had to have some sort of growth at some point beyond
They couldn't
him.
always have a dad.
Yeah, they had to have some growth, right? And I like in season 8 that they have their own little new Bat Cave. I thought that was a cool thing that they have now. So
Yeah, the Menelater's bunker.
yeah, that's pretty cool. So we'll get to all that. But I have watched Percy Jackson, the new series. There's now 3 episodes out, 4 episodes, four
How's that
episodes
going?
out. Honestly,
Haley's loving it.
it's so good. I was a big fan of the books, read the books, and I was really kind of nervous because last time we got a Percy Jackson live action, it was garbage. But this
I think
is
everyone who hated the books hated the
yeah,
movies,
this is
or
a
loved the books, hated the
really
movies.
really good surprise. I think like the way it's shot feels like a movie each episode. They're about the standard Disney Plus length, but there's a lot of the Greek mythology lore. They're taking their time with this series, and the kids that are playing um Percy and all the characters, like they're doing a really fantastic job, and I think the special effects are a big standout for me. Obviously Percy is the son of Poseidon, and so there's some aspects there that are really good. Even the furries, god, it's not the furries, but the furies, they're really cool the way that they're done there. Medusa, she showed up at a point, and I liked how they did her. So I'm really pleasantly surprised. It's a very good TV show. I think you should give it a chance.
Nice. I never
Um,
read them. I know my they, but I think Rick Riordan for making Kaylee fall in love with books.
yeah,
That was the series that she first really like got into books, and like I'd have to order the next book months before it came out and stuff.
books are really good, really, and I think I think it'd be a TV show you would like. Honestly, it's got a lot of good stuff in it that I think you would enjoy. Especially being that you like Supernatural. They're not the same, but there's some
Right.
elements like
But there's
the
mythological stuff in Supernatural. Makes sense.
exactly. So that's why I think once it's all out, I'm sure you'll probably get around to watching it. I highly recommend it. After your 45th rewatch of Supernatural, but I did
If Kaylee
watch.
was living here, I'd probably watch it with her, but she had a little watch party at her house. So
Dang, and she didn't
she's all
even
grown up.
invite
No,
you.
nobody watches shows with me anymore
Mom
now
didn't
that
want to
Kaylee's
be
gone.
invited. That's all right. Well, when I'm there in February, we're gonna just drink beers and end up binging Percy Jackson. Uh,
Right, because we have so much spare
I hear right
spare
because we have so much
downtime while
spare
you're here.
downtime between brewery meetups, Epcot adventures, and spending the entire
Megacon.
day at Megacon, and God knows whatever else we're doing because Sean's gonna be at Disney separate from Megacon. So I know we're gonna end up meeting up with Sean and Sam, and yeah, all the spare time we have, right? We always have grand plans when we get together, and it's like time goes by like that. So
Right. I mean, I've never done cocaine, but that would be a good weekend to try it for the first time.
just get a bunch of strippers and blow, and we're going right through the
Yes.
weekend.
I'll hire a limo driver for the weekend.
Well,
We'll reenact the scene with Harold and Kumar with NPH out the
and yes, and Neil Patrick.
limo.
Anyways, I did watch What If. I really enjoyed What If. Honestly, I think it was my favorite Marvel TV show to drop last year, and I'm surprised because I didn't like season one. Season one I wasn't very high on, but season two was really good. Like the Kahori episode really stood out to me. It was so beautifully done, and also fuck them colonizers, baby, yeah. As I am a white man chanting from his house in Virginia, but yeah, it was a really good. I thought that episode was a standout one. Captain Carter, I really
I love
enjoyed the fact
her.
that she got some spotlight in
I'd
this,
love to
and
see her come back as Captain Carter.
I hope they bring her back in the actual live action MCU. I think since she played such a key part in the first two seasons of What If, I got a feeling
She played a
that
huge part in two.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got a feeling that they're going to do some more live action stuff with her, just with the multiverse and Secret Wars and everything like that. I
And
got
if
that
anybody
feeling.
hasn't watched Peggy Carter, I highly recommend checking it out. I thought it was a great show. It's only two seasons. It was on ABC, so they're a little bit longer and the episodes are a little bit longer, but I just thought it was so fun. She was the reason that Shield got started. And,
Yeah,
she was the reason that Captain America trusted Shield because Peggy started it. And it was really cool to see her, how does a woman get respect in the 40s after she was like leading people into war and whatnot? And you come back and you see her get treated like crap and yet still prove herself. And then, she runs into Dum Dum. And of course, Dum Dum only is listening to her because he knows how intelligent she is and badass she is. And it was such a good show. I should rewatch that show maybe
I
after
haven't
my
actually watched
75th
it to be honest with
Supernatural
you. So
show. That was a great one. And that was one when it came out, came out, gosh, over like
it
maybe
was a
10 years
long
ago
time
now.
ago. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
God.
So it was one I watched with Kaylee when she was about 10. And it was like, yeah, it was a girl led superhero show connected to the MCU. So we were all about it.
Yeah. It was. I have nothing against. I think Peggy Carter's awesome, and I would love to see more live action, rather than the 2 seconds we got in Doctor Strange. But
Yeah.
I
My favorite though was the one with Star Lord, where he was the kid.
oh, that was really
That was
cool,
my
and
favorite one.
how like what if Star Lord came to Earth and attacked, and Ego came, and the
It
whole
was if
battle.
Yondu delivered Star Lord to
Yes,
Ego.
yes, and I thought I mean it was great seeing Star Lord as a kid, and the fact that he's always had that he would have hated his dad anyways. That was a really cool episode. I like the basically the NASCAR episode with um Iron Man and Gamora, and how at the end they took on Thanos together. Like that
Oh
was
yeah.
really cool too.
Where Iron Man goes
Um,
to Sakaar.
yeah, we got some more of the Grand Master. That was a solid episode, and the artwork was really cool. And then even Happy Hogan, he came back and had some Hulk abilities in him, and that was a fun episode too early on in the season. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I was impressed with how many people came back to voice their characters.
yeah, big time. I
Like
thought so too.
I never skipped the intro because I wanted to see who was actually there.
Same, and yeah, it was really. I always like because like Nebula was obviously she came back, and
I
I
didn't
do
love that
enjoy.
one.
It was okay. It was kind of like the kickoff. Yeah, it was when What If Nebula was a part of dang, I'm blanking on the name,
It
but
was if I can't remember exactly what the what if was, but
Xandar, she's
basically
there.
when
Yeah.
Xandar was attacked in the first Guardians movie, they put up the shield and locked themselves into like 2050, and Nebula joined the like Nova Corps.
Yes. There, yeah, Nova Corps. That's right.
But
And
the issue I think I had with it, and maybe this is because of Cosmic Rewind at Epcot now, is I don't think Nova Prime would have acted like that. And I don't want to give too many spoilers
well,
because the
that's
show's not
why
that
it's a
new.
what if.
No, I understand why she would do that, but she like it wasn't a this is a Hail Mary, this is a desperate attempt to save my people. I don't want to do this, but this is what I have to. She did a 180 and became evil.
She did.
I
I
just
did.
ruined it anyways. I'm sorry.
We're not going to spoil it. But that bitch was
But I just
evil.
spoiled it. Spoilers. This is a
Fuck
Doctor Who
you. No.
episode. Spoilers.
It is. It is. So, anyways, the what I've been reading, some comic book recommendations, Cap Wolf by Stephanie Phillips. And she's been a really great job with that series. It's 3 issues deep, I think maybe 4 issues now. But I've been reviewing that one monthly. Really enjoying that. It's Captain America as a werewolf and he's kicking ass. Like that. What more do you need in life, right? That's from Marvel. I have been reading Kill Your Darlings by Ethan S. Parker, Griffin Sheridan, Robert Quinn, John J. Hill from Image Comics. And if you listen to our first part of episode 200, that was one of my favorite Image Comics of 2023. Beautiful, beautiful comic book. The art is just gorgeous. The story is like a fantasy with a darker, like an adult fantasy almost. So that was really good. And then I reviewed Dracula, been doing that one by James Tynion and Werther Dell'Edera. Very
Oh
good
yeah, I
comic
read
book
the
too.
first one.
It's good.
I really liked the art. The art was cool. It was like
The
watercolors.
yeah, it's like a watercolor like portrait almost, and it's building
And
up this
he's
like
that's one that's going to be at Megacon.
yes, it's like this slow dread. It's like a slow burn Dracula, which James Tynion does slow burn really really well in comics, and so you're slowly building up. Dracula's hunted a couple people at this point, but you have the doctor he's met up with Van Helsing, and so things are kind of starting to formulate and whatnot. So very good comic book. Fans of Dracula and Van Helsing and all that are really going to enjoy that. If you take a chance, give it a read. Really, really, highly,
Well, and
highly
if
recommend.
you like those as well, check out the Midnight Show. Again, we talked about that last week, but
Yeah,
Van Helsing and Dracula is in there, but it's more of a somewhat comedic modern approach rather than oh, your hops just fell.
I heard it going.
I love those lights. They're so pretty. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in. It's a midnight show from Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah.
It's only a 4 issue run, so it just wrapped up. They put the end question mark at the end, so I think it's going to keep going. But the ending was freaking hilarious, and it was a huge. There was like a couple twists at the end, and then one hilarious reveal at the very end that I did not see coming. That was
Huh.
just such a great, like modern day villain mixed in with all these classic monsters.
Yeah. I will. I haven't read it yet, but I'm gonna have to get into it because I know you're raving about that. The last thing I will recommend is Birds of Prey. I've been reading that, reviewing that from DC Comics. Kelly Thompson, Eris Dren, really
I
good.
need
It's
to read
got
that.
Big Barda, Zealot, Sin, Cassandra Cain is Batgirl in this, Harley Quinn, and Black Canary. They're trying to save Sin from this monster, and it's been doing pretty well. And it's really Kelly Thompson's been knocking out of the park as far as writing goes. So that's what I've been doing. What have you been up to?
We really kind of covered everything I've read or watched. The only other thing I reviewed this week was number 5 of The Hunger in the Dusk, which I rated that as one of my number one comics for
Yeah,
last year. So you know how I feel. I didn't love this issue as much as I've loved the past issues because something that needed to happen that I didn't want to happen happened. But I know that next week they'll fix it. Are you watching
I
sports?
have breaking news.
Okay.
More Star Wars guests were just added for MegaCon,
Oh
and
shit. Why are
Ashley
you making a
Eckstein,
face? Oh yeah, that makes sense. She's here.
Alan Tudyk.
Which one's Alan Tudyk? Why do I know? I
He's
know that name. I
you
can
don't
picture
because
it.
he's the
Oh, the with the
from
thingies.
Rogue One, the droid K2SO.
Oh, he's a pirate
Yes.
from Dodgeball. Okay, yeah.
I'm making a face because this third guest.
Please don't tell me it's Gina
It's
Carano.
Gina Carano.
Seriously?
Oh no.
Wow, I did
No.
not see that coming.
Yeah, yeah. So
I wonder if she'll do any panels with anybody though. I
I
can't imagine
happened
she would.
I would actually love if I would pay for a photo op with Ashley Eckstein, honestly.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something we have to do. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I saw an email pop up from Megacon just now in our inbox, and so that said, "May the Force, uh, Star Wars coming to Megacon." So I opened it, and yeah, Gina Carano. Oh God. Well,
I mean, she's still doing stuff. There are still people who like her. She was only in Mandalorian though, and I feel like a lot out of like Giancarlo Esposito, which when he goes, he's part of the boys, he's part of Breaking Bad. I don't
yeah,
see her doing panels with anybody.
I feel like they will, but we'll see. It's Mandalorian. She'll be there for, so I imagine maybe her and Giancarlo Esposito will, unless Giancarlo is
Is,
a real one and says I ain't talking to her. But
isn't she also like a MMA fighter or
she
something?
was, yes, who took a very hard right turn, if you're catching my drift, and that's why she's not on the show anymore. So
Right.
I will not be at her table. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off with the breaking news there.
No, you're good. That was pretty much all I was saying was the hunger in the dusk. Other than that, it's just been what if and supernatural.
Nice.
Um,
Well, let's roll
and
into
yeah,
some news then. We've been
let's
talking
do
about
it.
MegaCon. Speaking of
Yes.
MegaCon, some cool announcements that we're excited about. So Scott Snyder is going to be there. He's one of my favorite comic book writers. But the Ghost Machine crew, Jeff Johns, we can kind of officially say friend of the show, Jeff Johns. Kind of cool to say. Whoa, goosebumps. But Gary Frank, Brian Hitch, Peter Tomasi, Peter Snedgeber, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. I'm going to mess these names up. Francis Manapul, Ivan Rice, Jason Fabic, Brian Anderson, Brad Meltzer, Lamont Magie, and Maital Shoot are all
You
going
did
to
really
be
good.
there on behalf of Ghost Machine. And we I don't want to jinx it, but there's things in the works there that I don't can't talk about further, but there might be something happening with us and Ghost Machine.
It
More
did
to
start
come
Geiger
there.
actually today.
It's really good. It did really good at those Cheersy Awards that we hosted on Nerd Initiative. Like it swept best artist, letterer, writer, all that kind of stuff. So it's got a lot. And the very first issue actually of Ghost Machine is due to drop this month. And
But not to
yeah,
because it is a little confusing because they were releasing these comics beforehand and it's through Image.
yes,
So, yeah, so the one I was reading, I think it was from 2022 maybe, and it's like an 80-page comic and they're like introducing all the characters
yeah,
and
it's basically
it's
a big introduction to get you ready for April's big rollout of the series
yeah, they're
in
fantastic
August.
characters too. And I actually
Yeah,
found it. I was going through the older comics because of I hadn't gotten Nocterra in a while, and the guy at my shop's like, "Oh, if you go over there, all those ones are discounted." And I found it. I'm like, "Sweet," because
hell
I like
yeah.
having it in my hand. I don't like reading it on the screen unless I have to.
Same. I prefer reading it and holding it in my hand.
I feel like your hops are going to start attacking you.
That's just that one right there. Anyways, Tamora Morrison and Ming Na Wen, aka Fennec Shand from Book of Boba Fett. She's also in Mulan, and she's Agent May.
I guess they were
Um,
both in Mando.
yes, they will both be at MegaCon. I love Tamora, so it'd be kind of cool to get to meet. There's all these cool guests I want to meet. Obviously, I don't have
Yes.
the money for any of that, so won't be
I'd love for the
happening.
two of them to do a panel that we could go
I feel
to.
like there'll probably be a really big Star Wars panel of some
I
kind.
love her. Ming Na Wen, I love she's a
I do too.
kicks ass in Agent May. And then, she's freaking Mulan.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on that. We are getting another Jay and Silent Bob movie, so that's exciting because it's the 30th anniversary this year of Clerks. Kevin Smith has said that they wouldn't give him the rights because he doesn't own the rights to Clerks, so they couldn't do another Clerks film. So instead of doing that, they're going to do a
Do
Jay
we
and
want
Silent
another
Bob.
Clerks film at this
I don't
point,
think
though?
we do.
After
I
how the
mean,
third one ended?
yeah, Clerks 3 wrapped things up, but they was talking basically about how the whole plan was for Jay Muse's kid eventually to be like the daughter of Harley, in the Jay and Silent Bob movie, and then when they turn 18, like when she grows up and kind of continue the family. But
Wait,
they didn't
what's
want
her
to
name?
wait that
Millennium
long.
Falcon? Isn't that what they named?
Something, yeah, in the movie, yeah. But they didn't want to wait till Jay Muse's daughter grew up. So they're going to do a new Clerks movie this year. Pretty exciting to see where that comes
Jane
from
Silent
and where that
Bob.
goes. I'm pretty pumped for that. If you know us, we're big Kevin Smith fans, right? Big Askew Universe fans, and they are going to have a presence at MegaCon as well. So I can't wait for that. Shout out to friend of the show, Brian O'Halloran, just saying again. Steamboat
He's not going to
Willie.
be at MegaCon though,
I
but
know.
Jason Lee and a couple people from Mallrats will be.
I know, man. That sucks. I was kind of hoping he would be.
I
There's
hope they
still a
lean into Kevin
chance.
Smith. There is still a chance. They just said
There's
they
a
did the
chance.
last, and actually, I'll go through the last wave of comic book creators that they recently announced. So Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, who are friends of the
Friends of the
show.
show.
What a difference a year makes. Some other announcements. D. Bradley Baker, who is Captain Rex. He plays a lot of the clone troopers in the Bad Batch and all sorts of stuff. So I would love to take a picture with him just to say that I met
Yeah.
all these people. And Tamir Morrison
We
too. So
met the
you have
clone
like,
army.
yeah, basically you meet the two of them and you've met the animated army and the real army. You're gonna have Gray DeLeasley, who's from Scooby Doo. She voices Daphne. Christopher Sarandon, who's from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I think we had mentioned him before. Maybe we had mentioned some of these, but I don't
We
think we had
must have,
mentioned.
but it's all good.
Oh, maybe we did. This came out a while ago. I'm just really excited. I guess. My bad.
We definitely did.
Okay, I'm like
Well,
saying these. I'm like,
whatever.
this sounds
We
familiar.
did all those. Obviously, Hayden Christensen, Obi-Wan Kenobi, they're going to be there. Their stuff's already sold out. They're going to have the
Oh,
biggest panel on Earth.
I was on the wrong screenshots. Okay,
How
we're also
dare
going to
you?
have Martin Simons, who does Dracula, Tony Daniel, who does Noctera, and Eden Wood. Eden Wood is actually, I think there are only 3 issues in. That's a one that I'm absolutely loving. That's a supernatural based comic. I know we talked about that recently too. Charles Soule, who's doing he's some of the recent
He's a
Star
big
Wars
Star Wars
Vader
writer.
that
Yeah.
I've yeah. So I'm trying to see if any of these other names look familiar or friends of the show. Um,
No big deal.
Tony Daniel. Did I say I said Tony
You
Daniel?
did.
Jeff Loeb. A lot of good people.
Yeah. There's a lot of good people coming, man. I'm pretty pumped about that. Speaking of comics, Distillery has a comic coming from James Tynan and Christian Ward called Spectrograph that could be out in April. Two of the best writers and artists in the game right now, and Distilleries are upcoming new comic book company. And Willem Dafoe is going to be getting a star on the Walk of Fame, which I'm kind of surprised he doesn't already have one, considering he's one of the biggest actors of all time. And then Steamboat Willie, public domain now. There's already a horror movie going to be made. How do you feel about this one?
Okay with it, honestly. I'm okay with them doing stuff with Mickey. Pooh Bear, I'm not. Pooh Bear is precious and innocent. Did you ever? There was a movie that came out a while ago. It was very low budget. Somebody actually filmed it at Magic Kingdom or maybe Disneyland, and they got in trouble. I think it was Magic Kingdom,
Oh boy.
and it was like the. I did watch it on like YouTube or something. I can't remember what it was called. Obviously, they had to shut it down. They couldn't do it. But the person, it like ended with like the dad being like tortured inside the Epcot ball or something.
Oh wow.
I'll have to try to find it and Google it and see what the name is. But I'm perfectly fine with it. He better whistle. I hope it's like a evil, like you know how he does at the beginning of all the movies now? It's like the
Yeah, yeah, he's walking.
yeah. Oh, that was Elmo's world. I don't know what I was just whistling. But I think that would be really creepy if he's just singing that opening whistle tune while he's like hunting people. Just don't fuck
Miska,
with Pooh Bear anymore. Just leave
Muska.
Pooh Bear alone.
They're not leaving Pooh Bear alone. I think Peter Pan also just recently became public domain. So it's
Hasn't
only a
he
matter
been?
of time. I don't know, man.
Because a lot of people have done Peter Pan that's not.
Maybe
Peter
they
Pan's
maybe
creepy.
Peter Pan is creepy. It's a kid that kidnaps other kids, doesn't want to grow
Brings him
up,
to the
and
afterlife.
he has his shadow like doing sketchy shit, and he's got his fairy that works with him. So Peter
Well, if you
Pan's
ever
already a horror.
watched Once Upon a Time,
Yeah,
he
yeah, the
was
TV show. That's right. He's kind of a
creepy in
bad
that.
guy. I do
Yeah.
remember that. And then my last bit of news though, however, is that Barbie, instead of being nominated for Best Picture like it should have been, it's going to be nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for the Oscars. I think Warner Brothers is really missing out on that one, probably because they know they won't go up and beat Oppenheimer. But still, man, Barbie, my favorite film of the year. Just saying. But whatever. What are you gonna do? What do you have on the news?
So Echo comes out January 9th. They are releasing all 5 episodes. Make sure that you have your Disney Plus
It's only
account.
5 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I thought it was more than
Um,
that. Damn.
it's going to be on Disney Plus and Hulu. I'd rather it be 5 than them force 6 or.
There was a leaked fight sequence between Echo and Daredevil that looked pretty good that came out.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it, but I did, and it looked pretty cool.
But you are going to have to make sure your account is on TVMA. So that's good that we're getting that now. Other stuff coming to Disney Plus this month. X-Men should already be there because it's coming out January 5th.
Yeah.
When we did our Patreon episode, I had to dust off the DVD, so it's nice to see those coming on. They're also doing the making of Echo and the making of Percy Jackson will be out January 31st. Did you ever watch the Ted movies?
Yeah.
So they're doing a prequel to Ted. It's going to be a TV show coming to Peacock and Binge on January 11th.
Does everything need a prequel? Do we really need to make a prequel of everything?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have Peacock
I do.
or
You can
Binge.
always log into my Peacock if you need it, but
Yeah, my free Peacock just ended. Maybe if
I
I get another free 3 months for Horror Nights next year, I'll watch it.
I watch football on it, so
Ah,
it's Sunday Night Football. Yeah.
so we get NBC and ABC and everything on our satellite, not our satellite, our antenna, but it's not bunny
Ah,
ears.
that makes sense. I
So I
tried to hook
mean,
an antenna up and it wouldn't work, so that's why I paid for YouTube TV right now,
oh, that's lame.
just
Ours
for
is
football.
literally like a square that's thumbtacked to the wall behind the TV and it's connected to the TV
Yeah, I same. That's exactly what I have, and for some reason it
and
wouldn't
it
pick
won't
anything
work.
up. I don't know why. I
Maybe
even
you need
bought
to
a
put some
nice
foil
fancy
on
new one.
it.
Oh God.
Hey, when Kaylee was little, I literally had bunny ears with with foil on them.
Take us back to the 90s, baby. I know she
That
wasn't
wasn't
born
the
in the 90s.
90s.
I
That
know it
was the
wasn't the
early
90s, but that's what I picture in my head.
2000s.
Oh boy. Uh
My other news, Jensen Ackles is once again voicing Batman in Justice League Crisis Part 1.
just
That will
one
be
good
on
Batman.
digital January 9th. James Gunn, pay attention, please.
James Gunn, please cast this man as Batman. Do us a favor.
Steve Wynn is not going to be in the Thunderbolts anymore.
Yeah.
Womp womp
I
womp.
guess scheduling issues due to the strike kind
I'm
of
sorry, but shouldn't you make Marvel a priority? Or maybe it was a contract he just couldn't get out of. But
it's
like,
probably a contract. Yeah.
if it's
That's he
Marvel
probably
or
signed
Star
on.
Wars,
Well,
priority.
there
And my
was a
last
rumor
piece,
that
what's
came
the
out that
rumor?
said that he didn't like the script. So who knows? If
Oh,
it's actually true, I'm not going to spread baseless rumors. I think that's just a baseless rumor that I just spread, but I'm not going to spread them anymore.
maybe he ends up being stuck under a dumpster. So
Oh boy.
funny story, my niece, who's 17, is currently watching The Walking Dead. And she started to say something, and my brother's like, Jocelyn, be careful what you say. You're about to get something spoiled. And then she said something about Glenn dying. And I was like, and then she said something else, and I was like, oh, you're really lucky your dad just stopped you because I was 100% about to spoil something.
Yeah. Oh
So
boy.
now I know exactly where she is. My last piece of news, if you're like me and you like to just have stuff on the TV sometimes when you're just like cleaning or whatever, you can now have Sabine's Loath Cat for 2 hours just chilling on the TV sleeping on
That's
Disney Plus.
adorable.
Yeah, I had, Alexa playing my Spotify, and then on the TV, I just have the cat sleeping while I de-Christmified the house.
Oh yeah, we did that too. It's depressing. Went fast though. Now you realize how much space is left in your house.
Oh my God, our house looks so empty.
Our house looks empty but bigger, just because of how that goes. But we do have one piece of beer news.
Guess who's back?
Pontoon Brewing is back. They figured something out. They, shut down due to distribution issues. They weren't getting money paid. They had to shut down. However, they're going to go back to their original location and going to scale things back a bit. And yeah, so Pontoon Brewing is coming back. They're out of Atlanta, Georgia. Sean, a friend of ours,
Of the Hops News show that I drunkenly introduced myself to at Wavy Days in
Yeah, I'm
Maine.
gonna be bringing the brownie batter that I've had for a couple years aging down with me. We can crack that open because I've been saving
Oh,
it for a rainy
geez.
day. So yeah. Anyways, that's all our news. Let's roll into our Doctor Who specials. So we will be right back in just a moment. All right. Doctor Who, for all of our Whovians out there, if you're like us, we're big Doctor Who fans. And David Tennant, the probably most popular Doctor, made a
I think
big
that's fair to
bad
say.
return with Donna Noble in the first, three celebration for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. They had three specials that recently came out, which we're going to talk about, and then we'll talk about the Christmas special. So the first special to come out was Star Beast, and the summary of this one is that 10, who is now the 14th Doctor, is trying to figure out why 10's face is back. He then sees Donna and her daughter Rose, and that's when we actually meet the Meep. The Meep claims to be that they're being hunted, but is in fact the bad guy. Spoilers. The Doctor figures it out. There's a big clue that was that the aliens after the Meep was just stunning people, not killing them. The Doctor then saves the day with Donna, who was able to survive because she had a child and was able to share the power with the child. And then Donna pours coffee on the TARDIS and it goes crazy. So why don't you hit us with some fun facts before we kind of talk about this episode?
So Rose is, she's transgendered woman, which I didn't pick that up at all. We talked about that before, but I thought was interesting. And I saw this on Facebook and then I fact checked it real quick. When those little shit kids were teasing her and calling her by her dead name, Jason, Jason actually means healer, like a doctor. So
Oh.
both names are connected to the TARDIS. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is, again, we talked about this. This is based on a comic from the 80s that was featuring the fourth Doctor. Tom Baker actually did an audio version, but never a live action one. When Ten first sees Donna, he says, "What?" 3 times. You know, the what? 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 Just like he did when she first appeared in the TARDIS in a wedding dress the first time we ever met her. So I've only ever watched Doctor Who once. And like, I feel like I need to go back at some point and start at 9 and go through because it was like I had forgotten about that. And it's like it was her wedding day and she literally just shows up in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And so obviously that was a play on that. And in the comic we had talked about before too, the audience finds out that the Meep is evil before the Doctor does in the comic, whereas in the show, the Doctor figured it out and explained it to us.
Yeah.
Which
The
I
Meep
actually like
is
that more, I think, because it was a twist later on.
right. I do too, because the Meep was supposed to be like this cute thing. You're like, oh no. And then it turns like real sus real quick. And you're like, oh, fuck the Meep.
It was
Die.
so adorable.
It was. And then it turned mean out of nowhere. Like, oh gosh. But something they did really cool. So in this episode, we
Shouldn't
kind of
have fed the
briefly
Meep
talked
after
about,
midnight.
I mean, true. But the sonic screwdriver, it had the ability to put up blast shields. That was kind of new.
Yeah, and force fields. And I mean, every time it gets better. And I mean, that makes sense that it
It
improves.
does. I like the way that they kind of change it. And then we were definitely confused about, is it 10? Is it 14? But I guess
It's
the actual thing
14.
is it's 14. Uh, but that was cool. I like this episode. It was cool to go back. We see Donna. She has no memory originally of what happened, right? Because he had to make her forget because
To
she has
save
the
her.
doctor in her,
Like her
with it.
brain would explode. Like the human body can't handle
Right.
that much information. It's almost like in butterfly effect when he has too many memories and he starts like getting the brain bleed.
Yeah, yeah. And so that was really cool. I thought this was a nice return. It was good to see Donna. Donna, she still is Donna. So I thought that was really
She's
cool.
so funny in everything she's
She
in.
is.
I
And
haven't
then
seen her in too many things, but
I haven't either, but I know she's like a big
she's
actress
great in
and
the
for
office.
BBC and stuff like that. Yeah. Um, but I think something that was really cool is like David Tennant, you can just tell is exhilarated to be back in Doctor Who. He's like somebody who gives it his all, and they keep bringing him back because I think number one, he just wants to keep coming back, but
And he
number
brings in
two,
the audience.
yeah, he brings the audience back in. Russell T Davies is writing these who there's mixed feelings about him within the Doctor Who universe, but I liked.
I love him. I know he's one of my mom's favorites. She was the first one that put him on my radar. She was like, "Oh, that's a Russell T Davies episode years and years and years ago." She's like, "That's a good one. All his episodes are good."
I heard the ninth Doctor Christopher Eccleston didn't like him, and that's why he won't return. Is
Yeah, that was such a short one. He's very underrated. I don't know if it's because he wasn't around long or because it was just the first iteration of the Doctor going in, but like he's so freaking like sarcastic and sassy, and a lot of it
yeah,
just gets like overlooked. Like he's really funny.
he is. I liked him a lot. He was Carrie's favorite Doctor actually, which I liked him too, and I think he's a really good actor. And he rolled from Doctor Who right into the Dark World, so I feel like he kind of got a bad rap from the Dark World, and then just the way he did one season of Doctor Who and then disappear. Like there was something there that I guess I don't think he's as appreciated as he at the time as he may be now. Um, what were
Yeah.
your thoughts on this episode overall?
I really like this one. This one might have been my favorite of the three, but that could also be because I was just grinning ear to ear because David Tennant and Donna were back.
Yeah,
I thought it was really great, and I thought the way because when you're going to bring a fan favorite back, and there's definitely always going to be a little bit of fan service, but I mean honestly, if we're watching this for entertainment, it's all fan service anyways. But it was a little bit extra. Like, did they need to bring him back? No, but they lost a lot of viewership with Jodie, and like I thought Jodie Whittaker was a
from
fantastic
what
doctor.
yeah,
Did
I
not
haven't
love all the
seen it
stories though.
all though. I haven't watched all of hers, but from what I've seen, I thought she brought a good flavor to the Doctor, honestly. Like,
Yes, and I liked her companions. She had a lot of
yeah,
companions.
I don't
And I loved some of the stuff, but I didn't love all of it. Like I felt like there were lulls in the
that's how I
stories.
felt with Peter Capaldi. There was just like,
I didn't love I feel the same way. There was stuff I loved with him, but I mean, for me, it goes 10, 11, 9, And then I feel like 13 and 12 might be tied, but I liked Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor more, but I think I like the stories of Capaldi
I
more.
think that's what it was too. Is like the story. If we had the stories of Capaldi with Jodie Whittaker, I feel like it would have been better. I liked Peter Capaldi. I thought he did a great job, but he didn't hit with me the way that obviously 10, 11, and 9 did. Uh,
Mm-hmm. They say
and
he got older for River, which is
yeah,
kind of cute.
it
Like he
is.
got younger for Rose and he got older for River.
It's always interesting how that works out. But yeah, no, I liked this one too. It was a good reintroduction. Kind of, they did a good job of kind of bringing you back to speed as well. If you maybe didn't see Donna, I couldn't remember anything about her.
Yeah, they did. Well, and just because there's just so many episodes.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's so much to go back and rewatch. And so you got until May to kind of rewatch. So maybe we'll do some more of that. But see special number 2, Wild Blue Yonder, which a fun fact about this, that's actually the Air Force song, which is,
Oh.
God, I hate it. They play it on the bass every day, and all you hear is "Off we go into the wild blue yonder," and then this makes me just feel like an old man shouting at the clouds. But it used to be One Hell of a Roar. They changed it to One Heck of a Roar for some reason.
So my mom used to have this sweater from when she went whitewater rafting, and it's something about a hell of a trip down the thing or whatever. And she wanted to wear it to church, so she literally painted over the L's and painted CK on it. And like they don't talk about hell in church, or you could just not wear it to church.
Hell, the literally like God's most famous adversary's domain. But all right, whatever. They always
But I mean,
tell us
my
how we're
mom
going
has
to hell, but whatever.
artistic talents, but it was very obvious that that
You
was
could just not wear it to church.
just not. What were you thinking, mom? I wonder what. I mean, I don't think she
Oh
has that sweater
God.
anymore. I haven't seen it in decades.
Anyways, why don't you go ahead and give us a summary of Wild Blue Yonder?
So we end up on a random empty spaceship after meeting Isaac Newton, and now gravity is
That
called
was awesome.
Mavity.
I loved
I
that.
wonder
What
how
about
long they'll play
gravity?
that out. That was fantastic. And then the doppelgangers show up after the TARDIS took off for safety reasons, which was a feature that had been turned off before that accidentally got turned back on when it got like reset. So they figure out quickly that there's a timer that's going on the ship and it's like a going to self explode. And then they learn the original pilot actually killed themselves so that these creepy shape shifting doppelgangers wouldn't gain the knowledge that the pilot had, because if they had gained the knowledge, they were then going to basically go destroy worlds. As the TARDIS shows back up, we then see a reunion back on Earth with Wilf. However, this is short-lived happy moment as we
Okay,
see
that was
the Earthlings have gone crazy.
very touching because you can see how excited he was to see the doctor again.
Both of them. And
They
he's like,
were.
everything's right with the world now
He's
that
like,
you're
well,
here. And knowing that he passed
I
right after
know.
that
It's
was
it
even
hits.
made it more, but it was
Yeah.
so sweet. And actually I do so he didn't get to film the stuff for the third special because he passed away. So when you see him in the third special, you don't see his face, and the audio when you do hear him was from a past episode.
Yeah. Hmm. He also actually, the actor Bernard Privens, he was in a non-canon Doctor Who movie back in the 60s called The Daleks Invasion Earth. He played a cop. He traveled in the TARDIS with someone named Doctor Who. The doctor in this was the actor who played Grand Moff Tarkin, aka Peter Cushing. So that's pretty cool. I did like this episode. It was kind of creepy. The
Mm-hmm.
doppelgangers were really creepy, especially Donna's, when they're running down that long hallway. And something that was really clever was the whole robot moving extremely slow. Like that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
But I didn't love this one as much as the first and the third one. It was fine. It was fine, but I didn't love it as much as the other two.
I agree with that.
It was just
There
kind
was
of
a
there. It
funny
was,
scene.
yeah.
What?
I was just saying it was just kind of there for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was definitely my least favorite of the four specials. Um, there was a funny scene though. There's some behind the scene footage. I guess David Tennant's wife was on set a lot, the doctor's daughter,
Mm.
both in the show and in real life. And they were showing the one guy because you see at one point the doppelganger of the doctor does the back bend and starts like being all creepy.
Yeah.
So they had his stunt double do a back bend, and David Tennant said something along the lines of, "They're really bending over backwards to get this shot."
Oh my god. That's some
Yeah,
stupid shit I would say. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't really have much to add for this one. I thought it was all right. Didn't love it, but it was cool, creepy. You got to see a little bit more about, TARDIS, Doctor, Donna, all that kind of stuff. She's got her
And
memories and everything back, and she kind of took it all back for herself because she's the Doctor Donna.
Dr. Donna. Yep.
Yeah, which leads us into Special 3, The Giggle. We kick this episode off in 1925, seeing Neil Patrick Harris. We then see somebody who buys a doll from the toy maker and then use it as an experiment into the invention of the television. As the doll's head melts, we continue to hear his giggle. Then we go back to present day where everybody has lost their mind and is certain that they are right, which is kind of more so than normal. And, anyways, we see the toy maker dancing in the back. The doctor and Donna head to Unit to see what is going on. They show what is happening, and Donna figures out that the frequency is a song and that it's the giggle that is impacting everybody's behavior. Donna then gets offered a job. We see the doctor and Donna find the toy shop with the toy maker, and we get all the doors. They're separated. It's kind of like this cool, which door is which, this room kind of building thing.
It was
We hear,
similar to the last one where they get like separated and they're trying to find each other. I'm like, they're doing
yeah.
this again?
Oh God, the creepy dolls on this one that kind of attack Donna there, and she's beating them off like. Okay, that's not it wrong. She's pause. She's beating them and fending them off. That was kind of cool. And we hear about the past companions and what had happened to them. They then play a game, which the toy maker shows up at Unit, starts to turning everybody into toys. The doctor gets shot, starts to regenerate. However, this is where Russell T Davies has said they're going to do something very different, and that's where we get a bi generation. Instead, we meet the 15th Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, who is it's now two doctors. We got the 14th Doctor and we got the 15th Doctor versus one toy maker in a game of don't drop the ball. The doctors end up winning, and Neil Patrick Harris, aka the toy maker, gets his tooth is left behind after he just disappears and gets sent away, and it gets picked up by somebody with a nice red manicure. So at the end of this episode, they said to wrap the box of the toy maker in salt.
I just thought that was funny. It was like a
You're one
supernatural
degree of
nod.
supernatural. We end with two
Crowley is in
TARDISes.
is part of Doctor Who. There's a lot
He
of. Have
is.
you ever heard of Super Hulock?
No, yes, I
That
have. I was a big fan
okay.
of TARDIS Tumblr. Jeez.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. Like people who are big into Doctor Who, Sherlock, and Supernatural. I saw somebody ask Jensen that at like a convention. He's like, "What?" He's like, "Can you not speak British? What are you saying?"
I'm sorry, what?
So yeah,
But
Super Hulock.
yeah, at the end of this episode, we have two doctors, two TARDIS, 15 takes off, and 10/14 stays back with Donna, where we get this cool reunion at the end. We'll talk about in a second. Now, fun facts, the OG Toymaker was introduced with the very first Doctor. Some of the episodes have actually been lost forever with only the audio surviving, which is a real shame. I'm surprised they don't have those somewhere.
Because they only had so much money and space back then. So
That's
they had
true.
to like
It's
delete them to
crazy.
make room for new things. And yeah.
Crazy. The TV inventor in this was real and did use a head of a ventriloquist dummy as his first thing he put on TV as a test. The lights were hot and did singe and melt the head. This is actually a sad fact now. You never see Will's face because he passed
Yeah,
before
I
he could film the
mentioned this one,
scenes. We
yeah.
mentioned this one. Mel is back. She was a companion for 6 and 7. And the news reporter, who is Wells, which is on TV, has been in past Doctor Who episodes and was actually on Torchwood. So, what did you think about this episode?
This one was very good. I loved seeing Neil Patrick Harris, being
He
Neil
was good.
Patrick Harris in a
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
He's creepy.
Especially like seeing him dance in the background. I got really emotional when I knew that it was coming because you knew this was inevitably coming. You knew who the 15th Doctor had been cast. You knew it was, but I did not,
I
it was
thought
less sad
he was
once I saw
toast.
them split. Yeah. So I thought it was a really interesting ending, and especially because they left it open
Yeah.
for Tennant and Donna to go do stuff. They left it completely open. Um, this was I know we talked about this a little bit, but this was the first time you really saw a lot of nods to older companions and to older episodes. Even, when the toy maker was like,
Yeah.
oh, and this, Bill turned into Cyberman, and this happened to Rose, and this happened to all these people. And he's like, well, that's all right then, or whatever. He was like yelling at him when he was explaining like what he did to save them. Like, oh, I turned, did this for River so she can like live forever in this. Well, that's all right then. Whatever he kept saying. It was so funny.
I will say
But
that's a good point. They really did lean into the very old, doctors, which is something they never really did before until now.
Yeah, they really and truly treat them like they are different people. Like the job was just replaced. And I get that I do think that they feel like different people. And he may not love Amelia the same way Eleven did, but he still experienced that. And
Yeah.
like he still loved River in multiple iterations. And, you see companions go from one doctor to another. So why would you just like completely forget about these other things? Like he was
Yeah.
so close with Rory and Amelia, but only as 11. Like that never really
Which is
set
it
well
is
with me.
weird. I agree with that. Like, you never get a lot of like, especially like Rose was like his one of his, loves in a way, and Amelia and his past companions. You never really get that callback or, hey, this reminds me of this or that. It's just like, yeah, that happened, moved on, which is weird because you spend so much time together. And I get you're the doctor, but still, like, has shown to be sentimental and she has shown to be sentimental. So it's kind
Right.
of strange that they never really leaned into
When he
that.
was distraught when Amelia and Rory died, I mean, felt that. He was
Yeah,
very distraught, but then they just moved, then he became 12 and just moved along.
weird. But I like this episode too. I one of my favorite things about this is when they bi-generated, and so like they come out and
Tennant has no
like
underwear on.
the clothes, yeah, the clothes. Like it's funny that what Ncuti took and what David took, and the shoes and the socks and the underwear and the shirt, and then like I thought that was really clever because he came out of him, and I liked that part a lot, and I really like
It
Ncuti
came
as
out of
well.
him. Yeah, they're like push off
He's like, "What?" And because you knew it was going to come, so I was getting emotionally prepared to have to say goodbye to David
hmm
Tennant again. And how many
again.
times are we going to
Yeah.
do this, right? Like, how many times are we going to bring David Tennant back in some mysterious manner and then get rid of him again? But this time they made it. They made it to where they could really do spin-off shows, and if they wanted to, or bring him back for a special, which I think David has said that they're not planning to do anytime soon. But the opportunity is there.
Well, there is another 10 out there in another universe.
Yeah,
So I guess they could have technically been doing this all along with him and Rose, but he didn't have a TARDIS. Now he has two TARDISes.
yeah, and I think it was really cool seeing the family dinner at the end with everybody too. But they basically made him. They explained it that he's tired, that his
Uh-huh.
powers are wonky, and he's weak because he's so tired that he needs to rest. Which is their way of being like, all right, we're getting our cake and eating it too, so we're gonna put you back burner, and then who knows, maybe a couple years down the road we'll revisit what they're up to or bring him back for a one off or something like that because what's happening.
I mean, they're only in their early 50s. They got a lot of
Yeah,
years to
that's
go.
true. That is true. That is wild. That
It
is
is wild, yeah.
so.
They were
Let's go to the
37 and 38 when they started. Now they're 51 and
wow.
52. They look great. Both of
They
them look
do. They
fantastic.
look the same. They really haven't aged.
Did you see before we go into the Christmas one? So Shuti did comment something along the lines of not having pants on because of David Tennant, and David Tennant's wife like shared it, and she goes, "I have the same problem,"
I mean,
and
who
that's why they have
wouldn't?
like five children.
I would same problem. I will never forget this the lack of selfie I ended up taking. Man, that haunts me to this day. There's a couple things in life that haunt me, and that's one of them. But let's go into the Christmas special, the church on Ruby Road. Why don't you hit us with the summary?
So we start with Ruby Sunday being interviewed on a show that appears to help people find their birth parents, as she was left at a church as an infant. For weeks after this, she experiences what she thinks is clumsiness, but it's actually creepy baby eating goblins who wear festive holiday hats and move stuff around. The doctor meets Ruby at a club, and then we meet her adopted mother who has fostered many babies over the years. And she actually gets a new infant on Christmas to foster that the creepy goblins want to eat. The doctor and Ruby Sunday save the baby, and clearly you see a connection between the two of them immediately. This pisses off the goblins, who go back in time and eat Ruby, making her foster mom not so chipper. And now the foster mom is depressed, and it's almost like and it's the Wonderful Life type of story. The doctor, however, then goes back and fixes this, and Ruby is back, and she gets in the TARDIS.
Yeah. Yeah. What's some fun facts you got before we go into our thoughts?
So Russell T Davies did say that who her parents are and why she was abandoned will be part of the series. So we will learn
Ooh.
more about that. The church did not have snow. They
Is
actually
she a
added it.
Skywalker too?
Maybe. She's going to bury the TARDIS in sand at the end.
Oh God. Oh no.
And this was the first Christmas episode since 2017. Poor Jodie Whittaker got fucked out of
Yeah,
Christmas
how does that
episodes.
happen? Like the
I don't
Christmas
know.
Doctor Who Christmas is a staple. All right.
I
It's
agree.
like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I
It's
even like the superhero one with Capaldi.
yeah, like it's I can't believe that this is the first one that they did in a while. And it was really like freaking good. I thought, right from the get-go, Ncuti has a ton of charisma. Like I like he was in the club dancing, he's
Dude,
vibing.
he's like spinning like a maniac.
And
Yeah.
he has a lot. You can tell he gives me
Got energy.
David Tennant vibes of how much he seems to be enjoying playing this character, which not
And
to
he
say
ran
that
the most, I feel like.
oh, he was running everywhere.
I
Yeah.
think we're gonna have another runner on our
Oh,
hands.
he's definitely going to be running, sprinting everywhere. He brought a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. I am so pumped. I got to say he has the potential to possibly become my second favorite Doctor just based off of what I've seen
That's
so
fair.
far.
I mean, he's not wearing a bow tie, but
No.
or a
But you never
fez.
know. You could change outfits. It's the first, who knows. But I thought his sonic screwdriver is interesting because it's not in the shape of a screwdriver. It's like a remote.
I didn't like that.
It was weird.
I
I
did
don't know how
not
I
like
felt
that at
about that.
all.
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
think if I had one complaint, that would be it.
It was weird. The goblins were cool. I like the dancing bit where they sung and did song and dance on the goblin ship. I thought that was pretty clever. I thought Ruby and the Doctor have a lot of chemistry together naturally,
Hmm.
and she was fantastic in this. So I'm really excited that she's going to be the companion because I think there's a lot of fun to be had from this potential story.
I agree. And they're both, orphans and
Yeah.
they kind of bonded over that.
Yep.
I didn't understand why the goblins had on hats. Like, do
They're
they only
parents,
have on
man. I
hats
don't know.
around?
The Santa
I mean,
hat.
do they celebrate Christmas?
I
Like,
don't know.
I thought that
That
was
one
kind of
really did have a
weird.
Santa hat, and that picture it took with the camera there, it reminds me of like my kids trying to take a picture on their iPads.
Yeah. Or trying to FaceTime with
Goblins.
someone who's older.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, they were. That was kind of funny though, because how many times are you like, I could have sworn I left this here, or like I could have sworn that table was there, and she's like, I'm just clumsy.
Yeah, that one it got dark for a second because that lady who's helping her try to find her parents like got impaled by the Christmas tree star. Like, oh God. That was like that's
It's like
brutal.
Violent Night.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to get like that brutal. So then when they went back and fixed that, I thought that was really nice. Like, okay, good. That poor lady
Yeah, but
did not
they
deserve that.
they did not go fat back though and fix Ruby's mom's house that like
No, she still has
had
that giant
cracks all
foundation
over it.
problem.
She's like, how are we supposed to sleep in this room? It's so cold. I have a freaking new infant here.
She has
And
a
they're
new
like,
baby,
peace out,
yeah.
going in the TARDIS.
She's fostering a baby and now like bye. And then I wonder who that old lady was at the end.
Some people are saying it's Ruby. I don't know if I buy that though, because she was angry and didn't know what the TARDIS was. So clearly something happened when he went back in time to save Ruby from the
Right.
goblins.
But
But
then
I
she
don't
technically wasn't alive though.
wish if it was Ruby, he could have left her. Could have been like, look at Amy and Rory. The
Yeah.
Weeping Angels got them, and basically they died like before they were born.
I don't
Oh,
think I don't know if I buy that that's her as an old lady
I don't buy
because
that that's her, but that's the theory going around. Kaylee actually sent me a video recently of a scene that did not get filmed. I guess because the guy who plays Rory's dad wasn't available to do it, but it was a really sweet thing where this guy shows up at Rory's dad's house a week after they left, and he's like watering their plants for them. And the guy is older than Rory's dad, but it's Rory and Amy's son, and he has a letter from Rory explaining, like saying goodbye. And it's so sweet. And I wish they had been able to film that.
jeez.
But it
Yeah.
is supposedly canon. You hear Rory's voice, the actor's voice, and it's just drawn. And he's like, I know this is weird seeing that your grandson is older than you, but I guess they actually adopted a son. My only issue is they didn't mention River. I don't know if maybe that's in a different thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's cool. Huh. But yeah, I'm
Mhm.
not buying that that's Ruby because then why would he also leave her to be an old lady at that present time period then?
I don't know. Maybe that will come into play when we find out who Ruby's parents
Because
are.
they're clearly going to do something with this lady. Like she knew it was a TARDIS, so there's got to be more to play at play, right?
But it's also interesting that okay, have you done like the ancestry.com or me, you and
Yeah, I
me
did.
23, whatever the hell it
Yeah.
is? So you spit into this tiny little vial, and the amount of relatives I had come up was insane. And they're going to take her DNA and find nobody.
That's yeah, that's I'm not buying that at all.
So is she alien? Is she
Oh,
actually from centuries ago and the DNA just isn't there anymore to match? I don't really know how DNA works,
I
obviously.
don't either, but
But how could they not find anybody at all? That doesn't
that's
make
it
sense.
doesn't at all. It's interesting. Yeah, I guess huh. I don't know. I guess we'll find out because Doctor Who will return on Disney Plus in May of 2024, which I'm really excited that they're going to be airing it on Disney Plus. That's something that's like, thank God. I'm glad they did it with these, which
It's
I
always been a
really
pain in the
enjoyed.
ass to try and find it
And
or
I,
pay for it.
yeah, like it
I
comes
own
out.
various episodes of Doctor Who.
Well, yeah, it comes out way later. I used to have to wait for it to come on like Prime or something like that. Way after the actual show premiered and you couldn't watch it and it was all jacked up. So I'm glad that I think that I'm going to be really invested in this upcoming season because I think Ruby and Ncuti work really well together. They gave me a lot to be excited for. His energy, her energy, they both excellent
Feed off each other
characters.
well, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one that I'm following along. So we'll probably have some more Doctor Who episodes sprinkled throughout this actual spring coming up.
Did you ever watch Torchwood?
I didn't know.
That one was I think more adult.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
mean, it has John Barrowman.
I just never got to it.
They should bring John Barrowman back for every Doctor. Oh my God, he would love Shooty.
I think he had some allegations, so I don't know how that's gonna happen.
I heard that that was old though, and that it was like I
I
heard
don't
he
know.
just
I can't
flashed some
look.
people on set like 10 years ago.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really can't keep up with all these actors and actresses with allegations. It's kind of out of hand.
It wasn't I don't think it was any from what I have read, it was that he flashed people on set and they were like not cool with it. But it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
he
It would
he
be
was
cool,
in Doctor Who after that happened.
huh? Man, I don't know. I agree with you. I thought that he was really cool, so it'd be cool, nice to see like another one-off, maybe of him or something like that. Since we're
Yeah, I
bringing
love
back
him.
old people, but yeah, that's our Doctor Who episode. Next week, we are going to be doing the comic book origin of Echo to get you ready for the TV show premiering on Disney Plus January 9th. And then, not to mention, we are also going to be doing Supernatural Season 7 wrap up, and we might have a special guest joining us soon for Season 8 who might have worked on the show. Just a little hint, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. We will see you guys next week. Next week, I mean. Cheers.
Lonzy.